it's been well known and, of course, documented that he was in a severe, and I do mean severe, car accident. And actually, he was lucky to be alive, so I don't see why there's even a conversation that issues before he came back and fought Danny Garcia. Which Danny Garcia is not the fleetest of foot fighter, and neither is Ugas. So, these are two individuals that kind of sit in front of another person who is a little bit slightly better of foot, but not much better of foot, as in Earl Spence Jr. against those two, Garcia and Ugas. So, one would have to surmise that, he was having these issues prior to both those fights with Garcia and Ugas going into the Crawford fight. So that's part of the narrative. It's in terms of his condition, his neurological condition. I would argue that he does have the issue, and he should at least take a long layoff, give himself a chance to enjoy fruits of his labor before he entertains going back in the ring against Terrence Bud Crawford. That should be actually way back on the to-do list at this particular point. And again, a lot of people don't even want to see that fight or that rematch because of the situation on one side and this other of the fight. So, this is nothing that's new. The narrative is going around. I'm just putting my input in there as well, with this video. And basically, that's my take on it. This is Ted King, the guru and Double OG of boxing. Okay, today we're going to talk about the Spence Crawford fight being postponed or set back. Obviously, there's some issues going on with the weight of the fight, perhaps not being where Earl Spence Jr. would like to have it, which would be at 154. So Terrence Crawford, of course, says, "Lo, the fight will be the rematch clause. I have control over, so I'm going to have it at 147." Which essentially just says, Earl, take some time off, get yourself together, work on some, your health issues, etc., to make which gives the fight more integrity, if you ask me. Of course, all boxing pundits know this, but the fight would have more integrity if Earl Spence Jr. push the reset button, got himself in a situation where they can do it again, perhaps at a more highly anticipated fight situation if Earl Spence Jr. can recoup his status in terms of being one of the pound-for-pound greats in the sport of boxing. So with that being said, the boxing gods have pretty much said, sit down, Earl, take a seat, relax, get yourself together, work on some things, come back against perhaps another one of the contenders, and build your resume up a little bit, and for the fight rematch. So that's what I think. That's only my opinion, of course. Things can happen. They can say that other things and factors that's going to come in, but at this particular point, we all knew, or should know, it would take him more than 6 months to recuperate from that defeat. So, only makes sense. That's all I got on that. Again, Ted King, I'm out. Attention boxing fans, we have some unexpected news that will surely impact the highly anticipated rematch between Earl Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford. Brace yourself, because the Spence Crawford rematch is on hold indefinitely. Just when we thought we're getting closer to witnessing these two phenomenal fighters in the ring again, fate had a different plan. Earl Spence Jr., the renowned welterweight champion, ex-champion, recently underwent eye surgery. Yes, you heard it right. A surgery that has placed a roadblock on this epic rematch. But what led to this surgery, you may ask? Well, it turns out that Earl Spence Jr. experienced lingering effects from an incident where he was ejected from a car at an incredibly high speed. We all remember that. Safely estimated to be over 50 miles per hour. This heart-stopping incident seems to have taken its toll on his vision, compelling him to undergo this necessary procedure. While this news may leave us disappointed, we must understand and remember that the health and well-being of these remarkable athletes should always come first. And so that's going to take a couple months at least to get, I guess, cleared.
My thoughts on that is this is I want to say a payday for him.
Okay, so you talk a payday for Spence?
For Spence, he just want to get paid.
Okay.
He on his way out.
All right.
And, why not fight the same person that you fought before?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Instead of trying to go after somebody else, it might not be much marketable.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
He might as well take this fight on his way out.
Right.
I don't see him. I think it's going to be ended the same way as he did
Okay.
the first time.
All right. So my question, here's I've always, my position, and I've talked about it several times on these videos that I put out. And this is a Mighty King Media TV, and my position is that even though he was soundly beat the last fight, that he would have to correct a few things. For example, his jab. I was of the, in my opinion, and I said it before the fight, that I did not like the way he threw his jab, especially against a counterpuncher like Crawford, right? But he would have to definitely tighten up his jab, because I said it was kind of long. And of course, I said on several times that I was going to talk about how to throw the jab correctly. I have not yet done that because I'm still working on getting my channel subscriptions up.
Yes.
Okay, and try to take that understanding and give it, to the masses.
Yeah, his jab wasn't. It was too robotic.
Okay.
It was too robotic, and he actually didn't really use it enough.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just trying to get him in a position to stay still, and that's not going to happen with him.
Right. Right.
And like you say, he's a counterpuncher.
Right. Well, yeah, we got Crawford, of course, Well, I'm going to briefly give an example of what I meant by his jab. He threw the jab and would be long. See, it wouldn't be a jab that was like a snapping jab. It would be a long jab.
Right.
And that long jab is what I felt he was going to get countered with, and he would have a problem getting his head off the line. And so, this is just, again, my opinion, I think that Earl Spence situation, this will give him some time to sort of decompress and get yourself. I mean, because most people don't understand that it's when you in any sport, it's the recuperation.
Right.
It's the recuperation that's the most important. That gets you strong and get yourself prepared for for any competitive activity. Yeah, competition. And so this is giving him plenty of time to go ahead and decompress since July. What the fight took place in July. And it's going to be about, in my estimation, it's going to take about a year for him to kind of get over that. Anyway, so I mean, yeah, right. So this is just my opinion. I believe that by design, he went ahead and tried to get everything fixed, moving forward. Okay, to be able to go ahead if he's going to still continue.
And were they talking about a weight difference or anything like that?
Well, yeah, of course they were talking about. There was some talking about going up to 154, which makes it kind of, we don't really understand. Well, I don't anyway. Understand exactly what the thought process is at a 147 or 154. So they were talking about going up in weight, right? And that, of course, both fighters. Well, no, I don't think it's been agreed upon yet. And of course, and just to be clear, okay, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors in boxing. Would you agree?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of smoke and mirrors in boxing. We don't always know exactly when things are going to transpire because the business of boxing is the money has to be there. Okay, I mean, you just pointed out that you have boxed before. And if you had an opportunity to box for money or box for free, which one would you do? Of course, yes, and that's what it's all about. Right, so the money has to be there, of course, because these, which they don't talk that much about, but this money is being distributed everywhere. Not just to the boxers. You got your promoters, you got your trainers, your handlers. You got your managers. Yeah. You got a lot of people who got their hands out and taking tidbits here and tidbits there of the pot. So the money has to be there. And so it's just my in my opinion, the fight will take place. And I think more, I mean, because you hear some talk, I don't know if you heard this or not, but they talk about Earl Spence talking about retiring. Yeah.
That goes back to what I was saying.
Okay.
This is his fight on the way out.
Okay, all right, okay, yeah. Well, at that, okay, so, okay, so we go ahead, look at, let's look at.
I hate to put it that way.
If a football player or a basketball player doesn't play in a year, is that retirement? I wouldn't. Yeah, well, okay.
I wouldn't know.
Right. Well, yeah, right. So we know that boxing.
That's not retirement.
You're right. That's not necessarily retirement. Yeah, correct. Right.
He might not, he might miss a few.
Right.
A beat or two.
We're going to call it. We're call it semi-retirement. Semi-retirement. Right.
Yeah. So fully retired.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that these guys have a tendency to call things. Retirement when it's really just a semi-retirement, right? It's like we're going to take a year off, right? But we're going to call it, we're going to leave it to your discretion, whether you're going to call it a semi-retirement or actually retirement, right? And so that's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it a year off, yes, semi-retirement, And so we can talk about, we're going to retire. Of course, that brings the fans in. Oh no, you're going to retire, or we'll never be able to see this. Yeah, and that's going to draw the interest to the spectacle. That is what we call boxing, prize fighting. Okay. Yeah, see, and so that's what they do, right? That's what they do. And so knowing this, I don't believe that Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence, the true Spence Jr. is retiring. He may be in a semi-retirement. Right. And that through that semi-retirement phase says, I'm gonna get this cataract taken care of in the process. And then moving forward, of course, that's still gonna draw interest to the casual boxing fan that says, you know, he got to think he's retirement. Oh, he's going to give us one more show before he does retirement, and we got to watch it. You see, and these are the ways that they use to manipulate the interest in these activities to get the people interested. You know, get the casuals and the pundits interested in the sport, the spectacle that is, of course, prize fighting. And in this case, it would be the Spence versus Crawford fight. So,
me personally, I just wouldn't want to see it.
Okay, and there's several people.
That's me personally.
Yeah. There's several.
Because of the way it went down, and just in the fashion that it went down, man. Move on.
Yeah. Well, I get that too. I get that.
And that's me.
All right. Yeah.
Move on to greater things. Move on to something else that you might want to do.
Okay.
You know,
Right.
Like I'm just talking as far as Terrence Crawford.
I get you.
You know, you say you want to go to a next level, do that.
Okay, so you're speaking to
Canelo.
Okay, Canelo. Okay, to the Canelo fight.
Yeah,
right.
To the Canelo fight. Move on to the next. You know what I mean?
Well,
I understand that, you know, you should give a person his chance, but the way that fight went down, it just was so clearly that he was just out. You know.
Now you're talking about the Spence fight.
Yes.
Right. So you're talking about. Yeah. So basically what you're saying, what I hear you say is that the interest should not be so much on the Spence versus Crawford fight as much as it is Crawford versus Canelo. Yeah, so in other words, Crawford should move on to Canelo and kind of push that narrative, that the Spence narrative, in the front. And I believe that
let him prove himself.
Right. Well, I believe that Crawford, in fact, is trying to do that. I think that it is Spence that says, look, we have an agreement for a rematch. And so that's basically kind of like, taking your hands and putting handcuffs on you.
Exactly.
And saying, hey, look, you can't go nowhere until we take care of this obligation.
I believe the fans should pick. I believe the fans should, because the way that fight was so unmatched, then it should have been like, okay, well, do the fans want to see it?
Okay. Right.
I don't know. I don't know how many people out here is like feeling the same way I'm feeling.
Okay.
That fight was just so mismatched to where, who would want to see that again?
Right.
You know?
That makes sense.
I can see if it was a little close or he had some parts where he was going to really do, he never showed that he was going to take over.
Okay.
Spence never showed that.
Oh, no, he didn't. No, he didn't.
So why would you don't want to see this again?
Right.
For what reason?
Right. Well, that's...
Let him go on and try to fight someone else and then try to make his comeback. With
Yeah. Right.
Let him move on. He already been held back enough in his career. That's how I feel.
All right. You know what? And
they taking belts from him.
Right.
Giving belts to other people.
Right. I don't disagree.
Let him move on.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I do not disagree with what you're saying, and it makes clear when you put things in, especially when you start taking belts away from you. They start taking belts away from you. I mean, because we have fighters that we do know in different, of course, holding different types of belts. Have not fought in a couple of years and still hold on to their belts.
Yeah, them belts ain't moved.
Yeah, them belts haven't moved. So, that's the sport of boxing, and again, that definitely needs to be cleaned up. But when you have these sanctioning bodies, that control the narrative of how they do business, it's very difficult to say, look, how you gotta emulate what these guys over here doing to keep everything, the same,
And I'm just saying, let Terrence chase his dream.
Okay.
I'm not saying that, he's gonna go over there and just dominate Canelo or anything like that. At least he's trying to do something and move himself up to another level in his life.
Okay.
So, weights is for a reason.
That's true.
Weight classes are for a reason.
That's true. That's true.
So
That's true.
You can see how it can go.
Well, of course.
But the movement is a whole nother issue.
Well,
Mayweather showed that.
Yes, yes, he did.
Mayweather fought everybody at the right time. He fought Canelo at the right time.
Yep.
He was just coming into the game. He taught him a lesson.
Yes, he did.
Mayweather has taught so many people different lessons to where, it's the blueprint is right there.
Yeah. Well, the Canelo is. Well, I agree 100%. they have different fighters that have shown the blueprint on how to beat Canelo. And I'm not saying that even if Terrence Bud Crawford did get the opportunity to fight Canelo, that he could carry that blueprint and do the same thing.
Right.
You know, and you know, I like to also speak a little bit more on the inconsistencies of these sanctioning bodies, and say that, you know, I mean, when we talk about the Canelo and his what we call a mandatory, it seems to me that David Benavidez will get the opportunity before Terrence Bud Crawford.
Exactly.
You know, and that's another thing about the inconsistencies of these sanctioned bodies. So I mean, and that fight right there, a lot of people are clamoring to see,
Right.
which would be a Benavidez.
That would be a big deal.
That to me would be the one that's, I mean, for the casual fans,
For the
right?
fans.
For the fans that will see that fight, that Benavidez versus Canelo fight,
Most definitely.
at least sometime this year, take place. Now, we know that Canelo has 2 more fights on his PBC deal, and that you know, that could be a great. Well, I'm not exactly sure who his next opponent is, and I should look that up. But with that being said, just the fact that he has an upcoming fight by Cinco de Mayo, that had not been mentioned either Canelo or Benavidez. We would have to surmise that we're not going to get the best. The fight fans not going to get the fight that they want to see. Can you agree on that?
Right.
Yeah. See, so that right there says that we still have some work to do in terms of us getting these fights that we want to see in the sport of boxing. And so, you know, I guess we got more work to do. But as a content creator, you know, in the sport regarding combat sports, boxing in this case, I want to see us continue what we were doing in 2023. In 2023, we were actually seeing great fights. Boxing went from here to here.
Right. Let's
Okay.
keep it going.
Yeah, let's keep it going. Yeah, keep it going. Well, we appreciate your time, sir. I'm Ted King, your WOG Guru of Boxing, King Mighty King Boxing, King Mighty King TV. Thanks for watching, and like I said, keep your hands up until the next one.